So last night we heard all about this town hall that Oprah was going to have. She wanted to bring out Kamala Harris, and she wanted to introduce her to a town hall and take some questions from the people. I had this little bet with Bill Hemmer, who joined me on radio, and Bill says she grew up a journalist before she was a talk show host.
Right.
She's going to ask real questions. Bill, you owe me money because there were no real questions. There were just saves. She was a lifeguard. She could have been on Baywatch.
Press secretary.
She could have been on Baywatch, saving people from one person from a political death, because she kept trying to get her to answer a question, but she also opened it by setting the tone by saying this, by going out of her way saying, something changed with you the minute Joe Biden stepped out. What was it? Well,
the veil dropped.
Yeah, the veil dropped. Really? I haven't seen the veil drop yet.
And she said suddenly she felt a certain responsibility. And that's the kind of the way it went.
Lots of celebrities.
Oprah Winfrey is perhaps one of the preeminent talk show hosts of American television history. And so, keep in mind, she has been an independent. Politically, the only time she really got behind any candidate was in 2007 with Barack Obama.
No one thinks she's independent.
She really pushed him at that point, and she stayed to the side. We never saw her at a convention endorse anybody until this summer, when she put everything she's got behind Kamala Harris.
I don't know how you host a town hall type format for 2 hours after you essentially gave a political endorsement of a candidate.
Well, we know whose side she's on
the stage. She used to represent that working class woman, appealing to the issues that matter to them. So she had an opportunity, a question was asked, to press her on this question right here. Watch.
We really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah,
I got a Hasanabi head delivering the food up to my room, definitely at the hotel. He got so excited, and he was like, "Thank you, Hasan. 100 P. Are you stocked up on Zins? Hell yeah, baby. What are you, crazy?" There's nothing funnier than talking about doing a town hall with Oprah when Donald Trump does town halls with like Sarah Fuckabee Sanders and like Sean Hannity and shit. I guess they're just jealous that, they got pulled like that.
First of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family, and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been.
Oh, God.
And we need to deal with that. And there are a number of ways. One is bringing down the cost of everyday necessities, including groceries. So that's why I'm taking on, for example, price gouging, which is when, most companies and corporations are good, but for those bad ones, they take advantage of people, especially during a pandemic or extreme weather, and they end up jacking up prices.
You know what I realize? The truth doesn't matter, because the truth is inflation is high. That's why prices are up under Biden and under Kamala Harris's presidency. And interest rates are high. They did go down, 50 basis points, but not as low as they were under Donald Trump when they were 2.44%. People can't have the American dream like they used to under President Trump. But if they hate Donald Trump so much that they put on these shows, they bring in all these celebrities, which I don't think helps. I think actually it hurts. Julia Roberts, she zoomed in, Bryan Cranston, Chris Rock, Meryl Streep, and others as well. And those are the coastal elites. Those are the celebrities that no one can relate to. Oprah's a billionaire. People in that audience behind her are struggling because of these high prices. It's all smoke and mirrors, though. This is all propaganda to make you think that Kamala Harris is going to be a great candidate. Meanwhile, if you look at her voting record, she is so progressive. She wants to take money from hardworking Americans so that everyone's equal, everyone makes the same amount of money.
But look at her response, though. I mean, every time she speaks, I leave dizzy. She's just speaks in circles.
So long.
And, it's one thing that I cannot stand. Make your point and get out of it. Just 1, 2, move. Right. And she just doesn't have the...
I don't think progressive has the same level of stink that they think it has. I'm serious. I don't think Americans like view the term progressive as a bad thing, nor do they think like Kamala Harris is going to give you all healthcare as a necessarily bad thing. A much better substitute in terms of like market reception would be radical left or even liberal. Radical liberal, too liberal. That was dumb of them.
To just let us know, point A, point B, this is what I'm going to do, make your life better, and move on.
Keep in mind, she has the job already. If she knew how to bring prices down, she would have done it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Number two is the price gouging. She's shown no proof of any price gouging, and she took at least a minute and a half to get to price gouging. I understand, acknowledge the question and answer the question, but you're acknowledging the question because
Everybody, this is something that you need to understand. This right there, this right here is a perfect demonstration of Republicans showing their hand because they're locked into the automatic posture of defending corporations. When Democrats do something that is anti-capitalist inherently or even remotely threatens the bottom line of corporations, no matter which one it is, Republicans have to instinctively defend it, okay? And that is precisely what's happening here. Tackling grocery corporations doing price gouging, whether you agree with the policy or not, is objectively popular. It polls at 83%. 83%. So now, when you say you are going to tackle price gougers, you are getting Republican mouthpieces to personally defend the interest of mega corporations that you have already identified as villains in your mind. This is why I always say you have to fucking defend these positions, man. You have to give Republicans something to fight against. That's it.
I have no answer to the question. That was it. So it was so tedious to watch. And then you think when the celebrities came on, they would say something. I know, it's crazy. They would say something of substance. Oh, they says, I feel joy. I feel happy now. You know what that is more of a hit on? Joe Biden. I'm so glad Joe Biden is not going to be
Chris Rock
president.
said, I want to be able to take my little girls to the White House to meet the first female black president.
Right.
And I'm like, well, you're a celebrity. You have that opportunity to go to the White House and take your little girls.
Yeah, meanwhile, the
Most people
other
don't.
black kids are struggling, can't read and write in many of our communities, have to deal with the illegals that's taking over the communities, the rec centers and all that. So all these people have the luxury to have joy because the economy is not impacting them on the same level.
Well, the whole idea behind this is because Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are only going to do the one debate. She's not really going to do any interviews, with real news
Wait,
people.
what?
Although,
Then make Trump do
you made
another
the point-
debate.
Or Brian, you made the point with Bill Hemmer. She used to be a reporter. She was a reporter in Baltimore. But she was there as an activist to try to prop her up. Because what the campaign is trying to do is they're trying to get the people who are persuadable. Right now, according to the new Fox News poll, the people who support Trump and Kamala Harris, only 1% of them are movable. But there's a tiny little sliver in the middle that are undecided. And that's why they're trying to do this. It's unconventional because this was all streaming. So they're obviously going after kids who watch everything on the phone. The New York Times just dropped a story that says, and this goes to the point about how important your phone is. And
Yeah, kids love Oprah Winfrey and $50,000 in tax cuts for startup businesses. Kids, famously high propensity voters. Let's say when he says kids, he's talking about 18 plus. But even beyond that, not only are people under the age of 35 low propensity voters for a multitude of different reasons, they also quite literally do not give a single shred of a fuck about Oprah.
the online stuff. The week of the debate, the Kamala Harris campaign outspent Trump 20-1 buying ads on Facebook and Instagram. The whole idea was to say, essentially, we've got a lot of money and we're going to try to get the message out. She's this. And so they're presenting a certain image, and there's a lot of feelings, but not a lot of facts.
So she also talked about something else.
Yeah, she talked about, we know she has a gun. She said that when she was asked about the mandatory buyback thing at the debate. You want to buy back everyone's guns? You're going to make everyone turn over their guns? And she said, no. Tim has guns, her vice president, and I have a gun. So we learned more about that and what she plans to do with her gun if someone breaks in her house.
I hate that they're like, you can be a fucking gun owner and still push for a push for a gun buyback, dude. It doesn't have to be mandatory.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes, I hear that. I hear that.
Probably should not have said that. My staff will deal with that later.
They deal with everything. They always clean up the mess. This whole campaign has been
that was-
run by staff. But even Oprah, who's being genuine, she goes, I did not know that. No one knows that you've been district attorney, you've been attorney general, and you've been senator. There has been no ads ever cut of Kamala Harris saying that she has a gun.
Well, she has talked in the past about guns and talked about the need to keep it in.
I don't understand. Does it break your fucking mind? Well, one, she's such a goddamn cop. But even her answer is so cop adjacent, where she's like, if someone breaks into my house, I'm fucking blasting, right? Like, that was a genuine moment. I think it'll probably play well for a broader audience of Americans, because like Americans are all fucking John Rambo in the way that they view themselves. But like, these guys are so brain broken where they're like, oh wow, like she never announced that she had a gun. Like, what do you mean, dude? She's not at a fucking traffic stop. She doesn't have to tell the cops she has a gun, okay? I mean, she is a cop. But beyond that, like, it's such a perfect demonstration that, like, gun ownership for them is not, like, a thing that happens, a thing that exists. Like, it has to be performative. It has to be the most important aspect of your personality. Like, oh, she's never mentioned that she has a gun before. It's like, so what? Do you have to always mention it? It's not the fucking top of the hour ad break where I have to tell you ahead of time that the top of the hour comes with a 3-minute ad break, you know? Very stupid. Anyway, here's a 3-minute ad break now. It's just very revealing how they view guns. And by the way, those guys, none of those guys are probably gun owners anyway, because they're all fucking libtards living in New York. Most Fox News commentators are literally libtards living in New York, so they probably don't have guns anyway and don't even like guns. That's the other thing that you have to remember. To them, it's just purely an aesthetic that like the dumb fucking hogs love. So that's why they're like, I don't get it. She's never talked about it before.
A safe place. Let's listen to the DA, Kamala Harris, talk about what happens, what police should be doing for gun owners. Watch.
We're going to require responsible behaviors among everybody in the community. And just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home.
Wow, I can't believe it. This 1P video in 2007 has Kamala Harris saying the correct things about gun ownership.
Home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way you conduct your affairs.
Okay, so that was
Gonna
then.
barge into your house?
Just barging.
And this is now. So last night she talked about how she and the vice presidential candidate, Tim Walz, both have guns. Interesting tidbit. Apparently, Tim Walz is doing debate prep. And do you know who is preparing it?
Dog. I don't know if like we are so brain broken as a nation. I think we probably are. But what they did there was to showcase Kamala Harris having a very normal and very correct position, which is that you have to maintain, if you are a gun owner, you have to make sure that it's safe. How is this a negative, dude? It's like literally, it is the same principle behind saying Kamala Harris wants to give you health care. Like, how is that a bad thing, bro? That's not a bad thing. It's like saying Kamala Harris wants to destroy Israel.
Plain
Buttigieg.
Buttigieg, exactly. And who did Buttigieg work up before? Worked with Kamala Harris when it was time to debate Mike Pence.
I think her flip-flops just show she knows she has to be more of a moderate. She has to paint herself more as a moderate. We know she's not. We know she's progressive. Bernie Sanders says she's progressive. She's just being pragmatic so that she can win this election. She is not a moderate. Look at her voting record. I think now she's saying no tax on tips because she stole that from Donald Trump. She knows that that was a winning message, especially for Nevada and people that work in the industry, food industry and beverage industry. Then she also said mandatory buyback on your guns. Then she flip-flopped on that to sound more like President Trump. You can keep your guns. In fact, I have a gun. And then she said, no fracking. Now she's saying,
I need to explain something to you. These people, much like the Democratic Party, legitimately believe that being moderate, being perceived as moderate is a good thing, okay? That it's like an automatic lock for victory. That's why they're saying Kamala Harris is not a moderate. She's a radical progressive. Now, the problem here is they do actually believe that. Like, they believe that, but it's false. And the example I will show you is currently the most popular person on this campaign. His name is Tim Walz. Remember early on when they revealed that Tim Walz was going to be the VP pick and Trump and all the Republicans on Fox News celebrated? They were like, oh, what a stupid person. I can't believe she didn't go with Josh Shapiro. What a fucking idiot. And I told you back then, part of that is just cope. And the other part is because they truly are believers. Everyone is a goddamn liberal in the United States of America at the end of the day, okay? I'm not saying what she's presenting herself as, Chatter. Don't misunderstand me. I'm saying that presenting yourself as a progressive isn't a bad thing. Just Stick to the fucking issues, and that's it. Stick to the issues and have Republicans defend the inverse of said issues and have them explain why, you know, giving people healthcare, giving children healthcare, or paying for their meals is a radical position in this fucking country. That's it. That's all you need to do, baby. Explain to them on the policy front that Republicans nefariously try to make it seem as though progressive policy positions are just bad without ever being called out for it. Tim Walz is the most progressive person. It obviously showed, Tim Walz is the most progressive person, and the Republican Party celebrating the Tim Walz pick as like a massive L for Kamala Harris, in my opinion, showed once again that they do honestly believe that like running on a progressive message is bad. But they are out of touch and they are wrong. It is not bad. Problem is, liberals also believe it. That's the issue.
You frack, sounding like Donald Trump. And then here she's saying, if you break in my house, I'll shoot you, like a lot of Americans would do.
But it's also it's such nonsense. First of all, she has Secret Service, okay? All right, they're going to be the people that like, don't pretend to the American people. You think people at home really think that Kamala Harris is going to be the person wielding the gun if someone breaks in? Hopefully they do a better job than they've been doing with Donald Trump, though, and they stop the person from even doing the perimeter.
Right.
So I just don't believe her.
Right. I would like to know the gun, how well she's trained with the gun, because you got to learn to train with the gun. You can't just have a gun. I thought the responsible thing to do. Couple of things. Well, there's a story in Politico today that says that she does not talk about manufacturing in those blue states, in Michigan, in Ohio, and in Pennsylvania, and that could be a huge detriment. The other problem she's having is, you know those uncommitteds that showed up not to vote for Joe Biden, to vote uncommitted? They have not committed to vote for Kamala Harris. They said they have not gotten the answers that they want. And that could affect in Michigan, in Arizona, in North Carolina, and Wisconsin. Now, you have no uncommitted line. You could just leave it blank. But there is an uncommitted line in Nevada. So if you're going to say, if you're angry about the Israeli-Gaza situation and are not happy with her agreeing to an embargo, you are staying with uncommitted. Well, that is a huge boon for President Trump.
Well, actually, Uncommitted National said we still oppose Donald Trump and we don't encourage anybody to vote third party. So it sounds like they're just saying, don't vote. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
But if there's an option to vote uncommitted, they're being urged to vote uncommitted. At this time, our movement cannot...
I hate these guys. Did he also say angry about the embargo? Like, does he just think that that's what liberals are mad about? Like, as in, like, they want no embargo? That's how little they've thought about this. They just don't give a fuck. They're like, yeah, don't vote for Kamala Harris, Gaza, right? All you fucking silly-ass libtards, all you give a shit about is, like, fucking exploded brown children who fucking deserve it. Like, yeah, don't vote for Kamala Harris.
And of course, Vice President Harris. That's huge. Yeah. And I think, too, a lot of people are going to say she's not giving her the answers. But I tell you what, you're going to hate Trump's answer because he was yesterday speaking to a Jewish American group, and he was letting everybody know, I've been the best friend to Israel. I don't even think Trump's critics would say that. And I can't believe that if you're an American and you of Jewish faith, that you would not vote for me. He says right now, he's only got 40% of the Jewish vote, because how could I not have 100?
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here.
I mean, I don't know. That's a good question.
Hi.
Perhaps it's one that warrants a further examination. It warrants an interrogation, you know? Great question. Why is it that 100% of Jews are not in support of Donald Trump? Maybe, just maybe, the universal cynical application that marries the concepts of Judaism and Zionism is just built around a fucking falsehood. I don't know. I'm no big city lawyer, chat. But it kind of feels like, at least all the data that I've seen, it doesn't seem to be the most significant thing, the most consequential thing for American Jews. Why the fuck would they care about Israel that much? You literally are a big city lawyer? I am not a big city lawyer. How dare you?